So as a leadership team, we're collectively responsible for making sure that the team have their direction. And we do this by being in the same building, that's always helpful, being part of our daily huddles and having a super cell.
There's always somebody from the super team in each of the huddles on a morning, so there's at least one of us in those huddles, sometimes more. And from there we actually pick up any issues from the team.
We have monthly clinical leadership team meetings, which are about an hour and a half, which gives us the clinical leads to have an overview on what's happening within the team.
And we try to think about what the main concerns are within the service. We have regular reviews of what's working well, what's not working well.
Everybody brings their specialism really. I think there's a lot of a good skill mix in the team. So everybody will bring something different and really fits into what they're good at.
We've got a really clear strategic view about where we're going, the requirements from the organisation, requirements from our commissioners. But centrally for me, it's always about the family and child being first and them getting a good service.
One of the important things for the team is to get a consistent message. So it's important that any differences of opinion are aired within the leadership group. We don't always agree on things, but we do always find a way to resolve difficulties. The way that we would do that would be to listen to other people's perspective, to try and step back a little bit and think, is the difference about that particular thing or does it represent something else? And to find a consensus that we can all agree with and all support, because once we go back to the teams, then we need to have a consistent message.
There's just a lot of shared, information is shared in a very naturalistic way as well as the formal structures.
Well, I think the huddle's been really instrumental in allowing us all to take a part in having that leadership. In terms of if you're due to work for that day, you will lead the huddle. So you'll bring everyone together, round everybody up, get them in there, and then you will sort of direct it, making sure that everybody has an opportunity to speak and to deliver what they want to deliver or bring what they want to bring to the huddle.
Because we all meet every day, it means that everybody knows what everybody else is doing. It means that if we have any problems with any of our patients that need an immediate answer to, we know that we're going to be meeting in the huddle.
We also bring the leaders of the individual huddles together, and we have a meeting with them every Tuesday morning, and we look at things that we need to disseminate. So process informations, if there's safety information.
We also have formulation meetings where we can think more deeply about cases in more depth, but also think about the impact that might have, this kind of work could have on staff as well, in terms of well-being. As much as we work collectively within the senior leadership team, it's very much within the team as well. And I think the team really benefit from that because they feel a part of something. We're not doing things to them. We're not saying this is what's happening.
So everybody has access to everybody's diaries. They all know what everybody's doing, and it's actually made the team work better together as a team. There's not a split at all. There's not a I'm doing this is your responsibility. It's a team effort now.
So we need to look out for each other. We need to recognise when people are feeling overwhelmed, stressed, less confident, and to be able to step in and offer help before it's asked for.
We've had, I think, about 4 or 5 away days with other team leaders. So that's been a really positive link to kind of look across the service how we're delivering things.
I think just by meeting regularly, there's always an agenda, and we have to be accountable for what's discussed. So there are actions. If something's agreed, there's a gap, there's something needs to develop, and somebody has to take responsibility for that. And that tries to be shared amongst different disciplines, get people working together across different teams. We've had little working groups across the 3 teams where people will meet up and try and take ideas forward.
For the wider team, I guess the most important benefits is that they feel supported.
I initially thought that I would get bombarded with lots of extra work, but that hasn't been the case because you get people in the huddle particularly sort of problem solving, and some people will say, why don't you try this, why don't you try that?
I think people feel that everybody is more accessible. There's a set time that everybody knows people are going to be available.
I guess it's like transparency, so we all know that how hard everybody's working or how hard everyone's not working, so it works that way.
It's definitely more transparent, as you can see who's actually managing and providing a clinical lead. And certainly with quite a few different part-time workers, you're also always aware that there's someone within the building that you can go to.
Other benefits that have come from this, I guess, would be empowerment of my own role. So helping the team to think psychologically about cases and not just referring in for psychological therapy.
Because you get to know about each other's patients, if there's anything out of time, if you get any phone calls come in, people can take other people's phone calls, because we might not have ever met the patients, but we've heard the stories, so we know what's going on, so we can take phone calls.
Now I think I've got a better understanding of the majority, if not all, of the patients being present in the daily huddles. I'll have heard their conversations, heard their progress.
The products have helped the team to evidence that they're doing a really good job. They all are here because they want to be here.
There is a sense that people are feeling busy, but not busy in quite as overwhelmed and stressed a way as perhaps they were a year ago. There is a response from the service to the service user rather than just from individual clinicians according to their own personal preferences.
I think they get a better experience. You know, they come in to work with one person in the team, but they actually have the knowledge and expertise of a whole team.
There's more flow, there's an awareness from the clinical leads of an overview of who's in the service. So if, for example, someone rings up, you kind of know who that person may be connected with, so which allows, I suppose, the service user, the mother, the father, to feel as if they're heard and not just a kind of another name, as it were.
We've got a duty worker in place as well, so that if there's somebody phones up and that particular worker's not there, somebody will be able to give them an answer or a response, so that they don't feel as if they've been left high and dry until the person, the know usually works with them, is available.
Certainly they're getting resolutions quicker, and it might be something quite simple that a medic, we would have to wait a couple of weeks to discuss with a medic, whereas we can just say each morning, what do you think of this, or is there anything we can do, and so patients get faster results.
Service users also report that they feel a lot more engaged in planning their own care. So I guess they're aware of what the service can offer, but also more importantly what the service can't offer and limits that we have in place.
With this new style of working, the patient journey is totally at the front of everything that we do. We never lose sight of what our patients' needs are.
There's more involvement in patients and families in the decisions. They are more collaborative care plans.
I think some of these processes have helped us to then help families feel more empowered. And that's my belief, but the feedback from the family and friends test, we do a lot of group feedback, is positive, it's good.
We try to work with other agencies to think about how are you going to take this forward in your life. We are there as a bit of a scaffold and support, but we will not stay around once we're not needed anymore, which I think is helpful for families. It builds on a recovery model of you will get better and things will improve in the future. And I think the processes support that, in that we're more organised with our time, so we know what appointments we have available, we know what initial assessment slots we have available, we know when we can see families, and I think within the team we pick up, you know, families don't have to wait more than 4 weeks for an appointment. We try to maintain all of our targets.
But as a leadership team, I think we have come together to make joint decisions, trying to be in the best interest of the patient, and that they get a standardised, considered sort of intervention-led sort of recovery.
It's a nice team to work in, and it feels like people are working to the best of their ability, really.